Fern. How Iran's leader was killed.
It's roughly 6 a.m. in Israel. A series of fighter jets takes off, armed with long-range, high-precision missiles. According to CIA and Israeli intelligence, a significant portion of Iran's leadership has gathered here, in a compound in Tehran. Among them, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Have y'all seen the nigga on TikTok? Well, he might not be on TikTok, but I see his clips on TikTok. The ex-operative that's just spilling the beans. You know what I'm talking about? Is he for real or is he cap? I've heard many stories from that nigga by this point. I don't know what's real, what's not real, bro. I have no idea.
The country's supreme leader.
He's for real?
2 hours and 5 minutes after the jets took off, Israeli missiles strike the compound. This is how the Israeli and US attacks on Iran unfolded, how the country's leader was killed, and what has happened since.
شهد شعیب گوارای شهادت را نوشیدند و به ملکوت اعلی پیوستند.
By the time this video is published, new details might have emerged. The US, Israel, and Iran have a long history of tensions. Until 1979, Iran was an authoritarian monarchy ruled by Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. He was supported by the US. When his regime was overthrown in the Iranian Revolution, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini took control of the country and founded the Islamic Republic. He was determined to transform Iran into a country ruled by Islamic law. Khomeini abandoned the former Shah's pro-Western stance. The US and its close ally Israel were declared sworn enemies. Especially the opposition of Israel became a strategic and ideological goal. Ruhollah Khomeini died in...
I'm gonna have to go with no face cam for this here reaction. Yo, bro, the issue, in my opinion, with this region, in my very little knowledge about geopolitics, is there's two key players that are seriously destabilizing the entire region. Seriously. There's two of them. And we know exactly who they are. And they won't stop. So it'll never stop. And then when everybody goes, yeah, there's another war in the Middle East, yeah, duh. Jimmy, I feel like most of the wars in this world are because of bad borders. And that's the third key player. We know the guys, there's actually 2 countries, 4 key players, 2 countries that create a lot of the borders. So there's 2 countries actively fucking things up, and there's 2 countries that historically fuck things up. That actually would solve the majority of conflict.
1989 and was succeeded by Ali Khamenei, a cleric who quickly rose through the ranks and had become a key figure in the religious leadership of the country. Over time, Iran, Israel, and the US repeatedly engaged in conflicts. Sanctions were imposed onto Iran. Iran became a key financier of anti-Israeli militias in the region. In 2002, it was uncovered that Iran was enriching uranium at 2 secret locations. The enriched uranium could be used for nuclear...
As a society, I feel like we're cooked. Because if it's not nuclear weapons, it's AI taking over. It just feels like there's too many like doomsday realities. And we just came up with this technology. This is recent tech, you feel me, like 100 years ago. Less, probably. Yeah, less, definitely less. I just refuse to believe the ego of some of the leaders in this world. They're not willing to just genuinely destroy each other. It's so sad, man. This shit sucks. This shit genuinely fucking sucks, man. I feel like every 5 to 10 years, there's another like huge, is the world's gonna be over event. If it's not global warming, it's gonna be some nuclear back and forth squabble. And now we gotta deal with all this AI, not just taking jobs, but potentially being more powerful than humans eventually.
Nuclear reactors, or nuclear weapons, a fear the US and its allies had for a while already. Iran has repeatedly denied its alleged pursuit of nukes. The US and Israel ran many attempts to stop the nuclear program through cyber attacks, the assassination of key scientists, and especially in the US's case through diplomacy. In 2015, the Obama administration and the Iranian regime agreed to a nuclear deal.
This is a good day, because once again we're seeing what's possible with strong American diplomacy. Under the nuclear deal that we, our allies and partners, reached with Iran last year, Iran will not get...
Everything's gonna be okay. AI can't take over everything. You wanna know my opinion? I feel like the only reason things... Not the only reason, obviously. Like, I believe in God, things are written. I feel like there's key people on this earth, scientists, researchers, that are just saving us from the brink of what feels like an inevitable extinction, bro. Like 100 years ago, the dude who came up with fertilizer saved humanity. It would have been crazy food shortages everywhere with the population growth. Feel me? But we don't think of him. We don't think about how he saved it. There's just people saving us. And sometimes we give them like Nobel Peace Prizes. And that's just it. That's just it. We call it a day. We move on to the next problem. It's people saving it. You could turn off your brain and not think because there's people out there thinking mad hard trying to save us.
Its hands on a nuclear bomb.
However, in 2018, President Trump pulled out of the deal.
The fact is, this was a horrible, one-sided deal that should have never, ever been made.
Ever since, relations have tensed up. In 2025, in the midst of new negotiations, Israel and the US launched a series of airstrikes on Iran using bunker-buster bombs. 3 Iranian nuclear sites were heavily damaged. In the same year, Iran plummeted further into an economic crisis. The currency crashed, food prices soared, people grew frustrated. By the end of 2025, mass demonstrations erupted across the country. Peaceful protesters and rioters called for the end of the Islamic Republic. Trump called for an uprising of the Iranian people against their government, saying help is on its way. But the regime brutally cracked down on the protests. It shut down the internet across the country. For days, little to no news made it out. In the end, thousands of people were killed. 50,000 reportedly got arrested. The US began to build up troops in the region, with Trump repeatedly threatening Iran. On Thursday, February 26, there was a last-ditch diplomatic effort between the two countries in Geneva. To no avail. Saturday, February 28, around 9:40 a.m. in Tehran, Iran's capital. This government compound is not far from Hur Square. It reportedly houses offices of the Iranian presidency, Iran's National Security Council, and the supreme leader. Since 2025, the US has apparently gained specific insights how Ayatollah Khamenei and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps communicate and move while under pressure. Reportedly, the CIA has tracked Khamenei for months. They've mapped his whereabouts and studied his patterns. They're confident he's here today, and they learned of a meeting of top Iranian officials on site. The US and Israel originally intended to strike at night under the cover of darkness. But they reportedly moved their time of attack. This opportunity was too good to miss. Suddenly, Israeli missiles hit the buildings. During impact, several national security officials are in one of them. Supreme Leader Khamenei reportedly in another. Afterwards, satellite imagery shows heavy damage to the buildings. Black smoke is rising. Geo-confirmed footage recorded here also shows massive amounts of smoke in the area of the compound. A picture taken here, too. Ali Hosseini Khamenei died in the attack. Also killed, Suyid Abdorrahim Mousavi, Chief of Staff of Iran's armed forces. Ali Shamkhani, head of the National Defense Council. Mohammad Pakpour, Commander-in-Chief of the IRGC. Aziz Nazerzadeh, Defense Minister. According to Israeli news, a total of 30 senior Iranian officials were killed in just half a minute in the opening strike. The operation was dubbed Roaring Lion in Israel and Epic Fury in the US. It has been planned for months.
Yo, chat, my geopolitics demons in the chat, would they not, like logically, maybe that's not how it works, would they not just sub somebody in? Like if your superstar player goes down in your hooping, would you not just put in your next best player? What do they do in this situation? Yes. So then, It's like whack-a-mole then at that point, ain't it? Unless their goal is just to kill the morale.
Masoud Pezeshkian, president of Iran, however, survived. Ali Larijani, secretary of the Supreme National Security Council, vowed Iran would fight back and assured continuity of governance. The strike on the government compound was just one part of the operation. Afterwards, Israel reportedly take out Iran's air defenses, especially around Tehran. In a third wave, Israel deploys roughly 200 fighter jets.
Can you believe that not so long ago, just a few short decades ago, there was this belief that we were past the point of wars, like as humanity, that we were above that. And that because there's mutually assured destruction and people got nuclear weapons and our economies are so interconnected, we're not gonna fight each other anymore. Bro, I woke up, I don't even know if it's true. I don't even know what I'm seeing is true. I saw an oil field blown up. I seen some niggas say it was AI yesterday. I don't know, bro. It's like, nigga, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck how interconnected this shit is. They don't care, bro. That's a thing people believe, by the way. It sounds crazy looking in 2026 thinking about it, but a few decades ago, people genuinely believed like wars aren't gonna happen anymore because we're too connected. It would cost everybody too much.
Much of its air force into Iran. The goal is reportedly to destroy as many Iranian missiles as possible, as fast as possible. The US reportedly joins in about 30 minutes after the attack on Iran's leadership. According to the New York Times, their attacks focus primarily on targets in eastern Iran, far away from Israel. They also attacked the Iranian fleet. Reportedly, US warships fired Tomahawk cruise missiles at Iranian targets. American ground forces use artillery rocket systems. Several military and command centers in Tehran are hit by Israeli airstrikes. Further explosions are reported in Iranian cities across the country. Trump releases a video officially announcing the military operation and urges the Iranian people to take over their government.
When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take.
Netanyahu later does the same.
נבטיח את נצח ישראל.
Shortly after their announcement, an airstrike hits the Sarayeh Tayyibi Elementary Girls' School in Minab, Hormozgan province. Iranian state media and officials claim that at least 175 people got killed, most of them likely children.
Why?
These numbers have not yet been confirmed independently. According to the New York Times, the school is adjacent to an Iranian naval base. US Central Command announced an investigation.
They missed?
Into the strike. Iran launches Operation True Promise 4 and the retaliatory strikes begin. Countless missiles are fired at dozens of sites across the Middle East. More than 200 missiles are launched at Israel alone. In solidarity with Iran, the Houthis in Yemen announced that they will resume attacking shipping lanes in the Red Sea. This effectively ends a 3.5-month pause following the 2025 Gaza ceasefire. The US-led coalition reportedly intercepts several drones and missiles heading towards Erbil in the Kurdistan region of Iraq with no casualties. Multiple news outlets later report explosions near Erbil International Airport where US soldiers are stationed. That afternoon, Dubai International Airport is hit with an Iranian drone, striking Terminal 3 and effectively closing UAE airspace. Several luxury hotels like the Burj Al Arab and Fairmont de Palm are set on fire. It's unclear whether this was the result of a direct attack or if the fires were caused by debris from intercepted missiles. But the UAE isn't the only country targeted by Iran. In Bahrain, missile and drone attacks hit the US Navy 5th Fleet targeted by Iran. In Bahrain, missile and drone attacks hit the US Navy 5th Fleet headquarters. Footage shows what appears to be an Iranian Shahed drone striking a tower block roughly 20 minutes from the facility. In Qatar, the Ministry of Interior reports 66 ballistic missiles were fired at the country. The debris reportedly injured at least 8 people. In Saudi Arabia, the Prince Sultan Air Base is targeted by ballistic missiles, which are reportedly successfully intercepted. In Jordan, the military reports that it has intercepted and downed 49 drones and ballistic missiles, likely headed for the major US military bases across the country. In Kuwait, Iranian drones strike 2 passenger terminals of the Kuwait International Airport.
Hey, the war industry is like so powerful. You gotta really think. The war industry fucks up so many other industries that like it has to have serious motion for it to be. Because once war starts, there's so much shit that shuts down. There's tons of businesses, people that lose their livelihood, everything has shut down. Things that can't happen no more because it's not safe enough to. Airports shut down, you can't even travel to the place. So when there is a war, it almost feels like if there's not a great reason why, it's so costly. Oof.
In Syria, debris from an Iranian missile kills at least 4 civilians while injuring several others. Both Qatar and Saudi Arabia announced that they reserve the right to respond. The Arab League condemns Iran's attacks. Following the blanket strikes by Iran, NATO senior command said its missile defense systems in Europe and its early warning radar in Turkey are on alert. Some experts warn that Iran may activate sleeper cells in Europe and North America. There are many more events and details we can't cover in this video, as attacks continue back and forth.
I'm not gonna lie, though, social media is gonna be the like, if it wasn't for social media, I feel like in the past when there were wars, you'd hear about it on TV or the radio, and they would tell you what happened, right? If it's state controlled, which most of the time, especially in war times, it is, everything is manicured, procured so that they can control what you see, what you think, feel me? But now that regular people can just pull out their phone and record the atrocity, these are things you can't deny this. This is so sad, bro. Damn. It's like random families that worked their ass off, made some progress in their lives, and this shit was all taken away in the last week. All of it lost. All of it. Not just financial progress, like family members eliminated. For what? How come, my question is, how come niggas don't try North Korea? Why is everybody so afraid of fucking North Korea? Cause we keep trying these niggas for some reason. We're trying them. Nukes? Not really though. Cause America's trying Russia and Russia got nukes.
So let's zoom out a bit. The US's involvement in the attacks is controversial. On Truth Social, Trump said this:
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world.
It's an argument for a war of necessity. An attack was looming across the sea, so the US had to strike preemptively. But it's unclear how Iran's activities directly endangered the United States. Iran was apparently years away from obtaining a nuclear weapon, according to the US's own intelligence. The country's ballistic missile arsenal is estimated to reach no more than 3,000 kilometers, a threat to neighboring countries, but not to the US. Iran might have been attacked because it was in a uniquely weak position, as a type of preventive measure. This might make this a war of choice, not one of necessity.
These preventive wars are often condemned internationally, not only because they're optional, because if every nation went out to strike adversaries who they thought were temporarily weak, we would live in a world of constant war.
According to international law, a war of choice would be illegal. There are also discussions whether the attack was in violation of the US Constitution. Trump started the war without congressional approval. Across the US and parts of the world, protests erupted, partly against the Iranian regime, partly against American involvement in the war. Oil prices have risen sharply. Experts warn of an impending global energy crisis because of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. In Iran, people celebrate the death of Ayatollah Khamenei. Others are grieving. At this point, it remains unclear who will succeed him. For now, the regime formed a provisional government. It seems set on revenge and continues to strike Israeli and US bases. The exact number of deaths is hard to determine at this point.
Bro,
According to
the part that fucking sucks is we didn't seen this cycle before, chat. We didn't seen this cycle before. They gonna get attacked, right? And now it's gonna be way easier for them to radicalize their youth to want to get back. And now what was potentially a war of choice is gonna turn into a larger issue because you did make enemies out of everybody there. You bombed the whole. Like, I need everybody there to have empathy for a second. You killed the leader and you had a problem with the leader. That's what America does. They kill leaders, all right? If the block outside your house got bombed right now, you wouldn't have a problem with the niggas that did it? All right then. If a war general came up to you and said, hey man, do you want to enlist in this here military to get back at these niggas? Are you not more likely to want to agree to that now? I'm telling you, it just radicalizes people, and then the shit spur up again, and now you made mortal enemies across the world. Then they're gonna make friends nearby, and then you're gonna have problems with countries. Here's what I think, Chad. I think geopolitics aside, human greed is gonna be our downfall. Just the straight up greed. More land, more oil, more power, more influence, more peace, more. Not enough. That's not enough. It's not enough. What we have now is cool. I like it. It's more than yesterday, but it's not as much as we're gonna have tomorrow. It is going to be our downfall, bro. And not just in the context of war, in the context of anything. We're already really efficient as a society. As most societies, especially first world countries, they're really efficient. But we need AI. We're going to funnel billions, trillions into this industry. We don't care if it's a bubble. More productivity. Replace these jobs. Make this faster. What we need a cashier for? It's a machine. It's a machine now. Oh, we don't even need niggas to move boxes at Amazon. It'll be machines that do it. More. Eventually, it will be too much. More power, more. But we're ruining the environment. More. We need more. How are we going to power this? This new toy we have. This shit is crazy. And look, we're all guilty of it to a certain extent, some more than others. More. Like the desire for more. Always more. Nigga, I want to play more games. I played one game yesterday. I'm playing 2 games today. Like, we do it in small ways, gang. Sometimes we do it for our own enjoyment. Other times we do it for cynical reasons. It doesn't matter what the reason is. But at its highest level, I'm telling you, human greed is going to be our downfall. Damn, man.
US military. So far, 3 American soldiers have been killed, with 5 seriously injured.
I love how Iranians are happy. This is a no-cam comment. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's not even pick a specific leader. Think of a leader of a country right now. All right? If they were eliminated right now, do you think there would be a portion of that country that was happy? Yes. Yes, for sure. The people that hate the leader. Does that mean the person deserved it? Does that mean the action was necessary or required? Not always. I guess it depends on context. So context is relevant. And you can't get context without seeing what the first domino was. And you don't know what that is until you go back and look at all the history. And for each conflict, it's very, very different. They're so dynamic. It's not as simple as, none of this is black and white. Face reveal? Yeah, we're good now.
According to Al Jazeera, 10 people have been killed in Israel, 3 in the UAE, 1 in Bahrain, 1 in Kuwait, 13 in Lebanon, and 2 in Iraq. The Iranian Red Crescent has reported that since the attacks, at least 555 people have been killed, with hundreds injured. According to the Times of Israel, these numbers do not differentiate between military and civilians. The situation is likely to escalate further in the upcoming days. Timely reporting like this is incredibly resource-intensive. It's only possible thanks to today's sponsor,
Man, bro. They just had his location and dropped the missile. It was that simple, huh? Nuts. A W video though for him.